Hello and welcome to another make along video with myself, Faye Lamb of Unravel and Unwind. And in this video we are looking at another one of my free patterns, a really simple crocheted cotton bowl, and it's called the Chakra or cotton bowl. Named Chakra because I used the colours of the chakras when I made my bowls first of all, and here they are, and they actually stack together quite nicely. And they're really simple to make. You only need about 20 grams of double knit cotton, but we do double strand it to give it some extra stability. So I've already got my cotton double stranded ready, and you'll also need a size 3 hook. The reason we do that is because we want them to be nice and stiff so that they sit up on their own. If you use a single strand of cotton, you can see they're a little bit more flimsy and they don't hold their shape quite as well as one that's been made with 2 strands. Grab yourself about 20 grams of crochet cotton, double knit, and you want it 2-stranded. For those who may not know how to make a slip knot, this is how I make mine. So I put my shortest end in between myself and my left hand. I wrap my strand around my index and middle finger, and as I bring it up the other side, I cross this strand over, and then I can use my hook to slide under the first part of the cotton that I put around my fingers, and use my hook to pull up that cross strand to make a loop, and then you just pull them tight. So let's get started. We're going to start by making 2 chain. And then we're going to put our 6 double crochet into the second chain from the hook, which will actually be the one nearest the knot. I like to use my back bump as opposed to using the front of the chain, so I'll just pass my hook under the back bump, and I'm going to go ahead and make 6 double crochets into that same chain stitch. And then I'm actually going to slip stitch it not to the first chain but to the first double crochet. And make sure I pass my hook under all parts of the stitch and draw the loop through to close it. I'm going to turn for round 2, and we're going to make 1 chain. That is our turning chain, so it gives us the height of the double crochet. And for round 2 we're going to put 2 double crochets in each of the next 6 stitches. So to know which one you're going to put it into, that's your chain stitch. This one here is your slip stitch, which means your first stitch is this one. So we're going to go ahead and put 2 double crochet into that first stitch and in the next 5. When we have our 12 stitches, we're going to slip stitch to the first stitch, so the first double crochet we made. This here, that's our turning chain, so we don't want to slip stitch there. We're going to go here into first double crochet, and we're going to pull that piece of yarn all the way through to close round 2, and then we're going to turn again. So for round 3 we have some repeated information in curved parentheses. We're going to do 2 double crochet in the next stitch, DC in the next stitch, 6 times. So this is our chain stitch, this is our slip stitch, so this is the first stitch of the round. That's where we're going to put 2DC, and in the next stitch 1DC, and that's the information we're going to repeat a further 5 times so that we have 18 stitches at the end. 2 in the next, 1 in the next. That's the second repeat. 2 in the next, 1 in the next. That's our third repeat. 2 in the next stitch, 1 in the next. That's our fourth. That's the fifth repeat. That's our sixth repeat. So what we can do is we can go back and count our stitches and make sure that we have 18 stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Fabulous. And we're going to slip stitch to our first stitch of the round, which is this one here. Okay. There we go. And turn for round 4. So we're going to miss the chain, we're going to miss the slip stitch. This is going to be our first stitch of the round. Again, we have repeated information in the parentheses. So we're going to 2 double crochet in our first stitch, and then 1 double crochet in each of the next 2. So that's the information in the curved brackets. We're repeating that information 6 times, so that's our first one. 2 double crochet in the same stitch, and then 1 double crochet in each of the next 2. Two in the same stitch, and 1 in each of the next 2. And slip stitch to the first stitch of the round and turn. Round 5, we're going to make our chain, and we have again repeating information. In our first stitch we're going to make 2 double crochet, and then we're going to double crochet in once in each of the next 3. And we're repeating that information 6 times. So I've done it once, And now we have 30 stitches. Slip stitch into the first stitch of the round. Round 6, we're going to turn 1 chain. Now round 6 is a little bit different. Okay, so we're going to put 1 double crochet in our next stitch. So remember, this is our chain, slip stitch, here's our first stitch. So we're going to put our 1 double crochet in there. Now we're going to put 2 double crochets in the next stitch and 1 double crochet in each of the next 4. And we're only repeating that one 5 times. So we're going to that's our first repeat. Second repeat. That's my third repeat. That's my fourth repeat. That's my fifth repeat. Now I'm going to put 2 double crochets in the next stitch and then 1 double crochet in the last 3. And the reason we've done it differently is because if we'd have continued to do it in the way that we had been, our base would have ended up a hexagon, and actually we want it to be more circular. Round 7, we're going to put in our turning chain, go to our first stitch. Okay, and this time we're still going to be increasing like we did before, but we're going to be reversing it. So what we're doing first off, we're going to do 1 double crochet in each of the next 5. And then we're going to do 2 double crochets in the next stitch. And we're repeating that information a total of 6 times. So I've done it once, so I'm now going to repeat it 5 more times. and then slip stitch to our first double crochet of the round to close off round 7. And now we're going to turn for round 8. We're going to chain 1, and this time we're going to be using the back loops of our double crochet. So that'll be, this is our front loop here, this one is our back loop, and we're going to be putting 1 double crochet into each stitch round, but we're only going to put them in the back loops. So to do that, you're going to insert your hook down the middle of the stitch and then under the back loop, and then make your double crochet. And then close it off against your first double crochet of the round. And by working in the back loops, what that's done is given us this ridge all the way around the outside, and it also makes that stand up a little bit more, and it just defines the base from the rest of the bowl. So when we've done that, we're going to turn for round 9. So rounds 9 to 11, we are going to be making half trebles. So we're going to start with 2 turning chain. Okay, remembering that this is our chain. This one here that looks like our first stitch, that's not, that's your slip stitch. This is your first stitch. And again, it's just a half treble into each of the next 42 stitches. So if you don't know, a half treble is you yarn around your hook, you insert your hook into the stitch, draw your loop up, and then you're going to yarn around and take that through all 3 loops. Yarn round into the stitch, draw up a loop, yarn round and go through all 3 stitches, and repeat that all the way round. And a slip stitch to the first of that first half treble. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video now and repeat that round again twice more. So for round 10 and 11, you're going to do exactly the same again, half trebles all the way round. For round 12, we're going to turn again. We're going to make our 3 chain, and we're going to put our first treble in the stitch before the 3 chain. Okay, so not this side, we're going to come this side. To find our first stitch, it's this one here at the bottom of the chain, right there. So to make a treble, yarn round, we're going to insert our hook into the stitch. We're going to draw up a loop. We're going to yarn around our hook, take it through the first and the second loop, and then yarn around the hook and take the last 2 loops off. So working in the direction we were going in to begin with, remembering that this is our slip stitch, so this is our first stitch, and what we're actually doing, we're going to be missing our first stitch and putting a treble into the next one. So now I've got a treble, and then that stitch that we've just missed, this one here, we're going to work another treble into there. You see how they cross over? Then we're going to miss the next stitch and treble in the next one. You're going to repeat this all the way around. And then we're going to treble in the missed stitch, to the right of the treble you've just made. Miss one, treble in the next. Now treble into the one that you missed. Miss one, treble in the next one. Treble in the one we missed. Miss, treble, treble in the one you missed, keep going. And when you've made the last one, you're going to slip stitch into the first treble that you made, and then we're going to fasten off. And once you've fastened off, we're then going to sew in the end. So sewing it in. Now this is the outside of our bowl. You'll know this because we've got this nice ridge here. If we turn it through to the other side, on that round, you can't see a ridge. So if you can see the ridge, that's your outside. And you'll notice that our tail from the beginning is also on the outside. So all I do is I poke my hook through the hole and I'll bring those tails to the inside, and that's where I'm going to weave them in. So get yourself a needle with a good size eye. Now because it's double stranded, we can actually weave these in as separate strands if you want to. You can go off and weave in 2 separate directions. I'm actually going to do mine at the same time. So we're going to thread our needle and pass those strands straight through the middle of some of the stitches. And by doing this, you can actually pull it tight so that you can close that center hole up a little bit more if you have the strength. Well, it has closed a little bit. All the time you're working with it, it will reopen again. So that's about as tight as I can make it. And I'm just going to try and pass my thread off in to some of the other row ends. Give it a tug tight and then snip close, and then you can flatten it out. Now I'm going to do my outside end. Now I'm going to actually start by passing my thread down through the middle of that first stitch, and I'm going to be wanting to sew on the inside. So just go through the middle of stitch. Can turn it in the other way round to make it easier. I'm going to go down the middle of that stitch. Pass it along that way. Pass it across our seam. Along a little way further, and then I'm going to go up the middle of these stitches. I'm going to come out about there, and then I'm going to give it a little tug and snip it off. And there we go. One cotton crochet bowl. If you want a shallow one like mine, so I'll show you the difference between the two. This one was before doing the back loop ridge here. You can see it's a lot more curved, but you can also see that it is one round higher than the one that I've made today, so you can make a shallow one like this. If you want to make it a little bit taller, just add some extra half treble rounds in. Obviously you will need more than 20 grams of yarn to do so, and you can make it a little bit taller if you want to. Thank you for joining me today, and I look forward to joining you for my next crochet pattern video. Take care and see you soon.